UFC 299. We have Sean O'Malley taking on Cheeto Vera in the rematch. The first one was pretty controversial, and as a lot of you know, the Sugar Sean O'Malley Athletic Commission does not look at it as a loss. I don't know if I agree with that, but we are going to see the rematch in the main event at 299 this Saturday. We got 14 fights and banger of a whole main card. Honestly, this is one of the best cards I've ever seen. So we're going to go through every single card or fight on the card, and we're going to go through all my bets so far. So let's start on the first fight of the night. We got Joanne Wood taking on Marina Moraes. Sorry, I just wanted to open up my bets. And so far we got Marina Moraes about a minus 200 favorite. She did win the first fight, but it was a while ago. What was it, an armbar? I think it was an armbar. She caught her. Yeah, it was an armbar in round one. That was a long time ago, though. That was 2015. And speaking of which, Joanne Wood is talking about retiring after this fight. So we got a lot of people are going to call this the OnlyFans fade versus the retirement fade. You got Joanne Wood. You know, she's flirted with retirement in the past. She's 38 years old, which at this division is getting up there. She's pretty well-rounded. Not great anywhere, but kind of solid everywhere. Typically throws good volume. We've seen her have a couple fights where she didn't do that, but typically throws pretty good volume. More of a striker, but, decent on the ground. Not the best wrestling, but, she can mix in takedowns on lower-level girls who can't defend them. But typically she wants to keep it on the feet, whereas Marina Moraes, neither of these girls have great wrestling. But Marina Moraes does have, probably a grappling advantage, not just because she got the submission in the first one, but, she's more of a grappler, whereas Joanne would rather keep it on the feet. On the feet, I do think it's going to be close. At this point, I think it's pretty 50-50 on the feet, but I do think on the ground, Marina Moraes can get another submission, especially when you're hear Joanne Wood talking about retirement. And, obviously up there in age for the division. The fight's pretty close, but I think the line's decently accurate. I'm going to pick Marina Moraes. If it wasn't, I would think decision, but honestly, if she's 1 foot out, she might get subbed again. But overall, I think this fight could definitely go to decision, be close, so I don't blame you for taking Joanne Wood. But, I'm going to pick Marina Moraes. I'm going to pick her to get the submission, second round. I'm going to pick it to be a rear naked choke this time, but, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close decision. I'm not going to bet that fight, I don't think. It's going to be a pass for me. Next up, we got CJ Vergara, and he's the biggest underdog on the card, taking on Azu Almabayev. Almabayev, he is legit. I went back and watched Tagir Ulanbekov make him tap to strikes. That wasn't a good look, but Tagir's pretty solid. He's got some legitimate wins at this point, even though he's had some not so great performances, but it's not the worst loss ever. And it was, I do think he's gotten better since. I think he's more of closer to a finished product at this point. Little reckless on the feet, but is a good grappler, good submissions, wants to take you down and submit you for sure. And Vergara has been submitted. He's been taken down before. But, Odie Osborne took him down. It's not a terrible look. It's not the best, but it's, Odie Osborne's pretty solid when he's fighting to his best potential. And then the Tatsuya Taira. Taira's pretty legit. He is still young, but, that's a legit prospect. So, not the worst losses of all time. He did get submitted on the regional scene as well, so he's been submitted a couple times. And I do think the most likely scenario is probably an Almabayev submission. But at these odds, man, biggest favorite on the card. I think there's almost close. I think it's close to 390 or something. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw like a 385, 390 for Vergara. Let's see if am I exaggerating? Am I thinking about a prop? Let me see. Vergara. Okay, yeah, no, plus 390 on FanDuel right now. So it's getting to the point where I'm like, I don't want to get suckered into taking a. I don't see Vergara winning this fight, but do I think Almabayev wins? a guaranteed 7 out of the 10 if they were to fight 10 times. I mean, close to 7, but definitely wouldn't be confident to say 8. So I think these odds are getting a little excessive. I do think he's good. I do think most likely scenario is he gets him down and gets a submission. But I would not be shocked if Vergara. We've been seeing a lot of fraud checks lately. So are we going to see another one? I don't know. I'm going to pick Almeida by sub. But, I mean, if people keep parlaying Almeida, y'all are going to twist my wrist and force my hand. We got robbed last week trying to fade not Bostrad. He did honestly get fraud checked, but Makayev. I had Alex Perez as an underdog, but hopefully that doesn't happen again if I do end up taking another underdog there. But next up, we got Rebellis Despain taking on Josh Perian. Man, look, honestly, this is a fight where typically, if anything, it would be an underdog fade. Fade the huge favorite. He's got 4 fights. All of them are like 10-second knockouts. I think one of them's like 4 seconds. Dude's got like 40 seconds in fight time. I mean, it's impossible to see anything. He's a Taekwondo guy. He's absolutely enormous. 87-inch reach, 6'7". He's huge. Josh Perian's not small either. He's a big guy, but as you know, he is not the most athletic. He is going to have about every physical advantage against him here, against Rebellis. But, I mean, we've only seen him fight for 40 seconds. Can he go for 3 rounds, let alone even 2? So I'm going to be looking, I'm not going to lie, at like a Josh Perian second round, because I do think this line is insane for a guy with 40 seconds of time, and like I guarantee he's going to be one of these guys that, is going to get taken to the second round and then just going to get so tired and get finished. But, they know what they're doing, giving him Josh Perian. This is not a dangerous guy. For a heavyweight, he doesn't have a lot of power. He's unathletic and slow. This is a guy Rebellis should be able to knock out. I honestly think he's probably, most likely scenario is he knocks Josh Perian out within the first minute or 2 tops. But would I be shocked if Josh Perian survives the first round and then we see Rebellis just completely gas out from trying to take his head off, and then Josh Perian gets a crazy underdog win in the second round, gets 1 takedown, and it's just completely over because this dude sucks on the ground? I would not be shocked. We haven't even seen him. He's 35, which, it's heavyweight, so it's all good, but he's got 4 fights and all of them are like within a minute. So overall, I'm going to pick Rebellis first round KO, but I think the UFC knows what they're doing. Josh Perian, one of the worst heavyweights in the division. He's also slow and unathletic and should just be standing there to get clobbered in that first minute. But there is a world where he could pull this off at this number, so I'm going to be looking at a round 2 prop from Josh Perian. I don't know if I'm going to do it. The line isn't out yet. We'll see what it's priced at. But if it's crazy, I mean, especially if people keep betting this Rebellis, get that money line up, we're going to get a crazy line on that. So I'll look out for that. But overall, it's going to be Rebellis first round KO. Let's move on. Next up, we got Felipe Lins taking on Ian Cutelaba. This fight was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago. Actually, it might have been a little longer. When was that fight supposed to happen? I don't know. I think Felipe Lins was a little bit of that was actually a couple months ago. Wonder why it took so long to reschedule. I remember Cutelaba got sick before the fight. And I mean, he doesn't strike me as someone that would, pull out unless it was serious. But he is coming in as a favorite again, not by much. I don't know why the line's not showing on other books. I've seen it on other books, but Lins on most books is a slight underdog, and overall, I don't have a really strong take on this fight, man. Both these guys are super unreliable. Lins, is he gonna let his hands go? Sometimes he just ends up standing there and not doing much. He is 38. I mean, this is light heavyweight, but still getting up there. And I mean, he's been looking better in his last couple of fights, but it's low competition. Is Cutelaba much better? No, but he is a little bit of a step up compared to these last couple guys Lins has been beating. Cutelaba's got about 7 minutes to fight. If he hasn't finished you, he's probably going to get finished. Overall, I think it's dog or pass, man. I think Lins, is the bigger guy. I think he's going to have a striking advantage. Hopefully he lets his hands go, but Cutelaba will probably force him to let his hands go a little bit. Cutelaba is either going to take him down and smash him in the first round, or I think Lens has a better shot of going a hard 15, even if he's not throwing a ton. I think he can just make it 15 minutes without completely gassing like Cutelaba tends to do. So I think he has got more paths to victory. I think a submission, maybe with like a guillotine, as Cutelaba starts getting desperate and shooting those crazy shots from no setup. A guillotine's live, but overall, I'm gonna say a TKO from Lens. I'm gonna say into the second round, Lens TKO. But there's some red flags on both sides. I'm just gonna say dog or pass, and I'm gonna say slight lean towards Philippe Lens. I don't know if I'll bet it though. I actually think I had a little bit. He was a bigger underdog. I got him at least better than plus. What is he like right now? Most books like plus 110. I think there's a plus 120 at least out there, but I think I got him like plus 140 before. But I don't know. Maybe if it gets crazy like that. But overall, slight lean toward Lens. No confidence though. Next up, we got Michel Pereira taking on Mikhail Olazechuk. Olazechuk was fighting at 205 for a little bit. He moved down, which I do think was a good move. And he's been looking better for the most part. I mean, did take that loss to Kyle Barallo, but Barallo is a good grappler and good jiu-jitsu, good submissions. Overall, he has been looking better at this division. I think he was a little undersized at 205. And speaking of undersized, I mean, Pereira is going to be bigger than most guys. I don't think he's going to be a crazy size advantage in this one. Because Olazechuk, he was a solid 205er, but he was on the smaller side. So I still think, honestly, at weigh-ins, even as a 205er coming down, he'll probably be a little smaller than Pereira. Pereira, I mean, it's insane. This dude used to make 170. Insane, man. He's huge. But, I don't think he'll have a crazy size advantage here, which, I do think that 185, he's not going to have some of those ridiculous physical advantages as he does in a lot of his fights. But, I do think he still kind of has this rep for being like he'll pass the guard with a backflip, which pissed me off. I had money on Nico Price and that he literally stomped on his head, which is a downed opponent while he was laying there. But don't get me started on that. I've always been against Pereira. I've faded him a couple times. It burned me, but a couple times I just narrowly missed some pride, some late props. I had a late prop on the Ponzinibbio fight. I had Ponzinibbio by decision. Almost got that one. I had a late prop in the Fiallo fight, like a Nico Price straight. So I've tried to fade him a couple times and lost. I did actually have a huge underdog ticket on Tristan Connolly. That was when he had more of a rep, though, as being like a wild man, just doing flips on his way to the octagon. I gotta say, man, I've been a little bit of a hater, but he has honestly tamed down. He's been sticking to the basics a lot more. Now, don't get me wrong, he's gonna have a couple moments where he gets wild and just ridiculous in there. But overall, man, we've seen him like kind of turn it around and be more, show his experience a little bit more. Do what he has to do, mix in takedowns when he needs to. He's a big guy. I mean, again, at this weight class, he's not gonna have as much of a strength and size advantage, but the gas tank's been an issue. But man, he's been able to continue through and just finish out the fight, even if he does look completely gassed at the end. And maybe at this weight class when he's not cutting as much, he can push a little further. I would have loved to see that Wonder Boy fight, but overall, I think this weight class probably fits him more. 170 is insane he ever made that weight class, but I think he's just got more pass. Michel, man, that Michel and Mikhail is just messing me up. But Olazechuk, man, he's got good hands. He's a good striker, but I think Pereira can take him down, man. I mean, not that Pereira's some high-level wrestler, but he mixes it in well, and he's got enough power to make you respect it, which sets up the takedowns and vice versa. I think you can just mix it up a little bit. And man, I think this might be the first time ever, but I bet Pereira minus 150, man. I think he should be the favorite. I think it's a fair line. I guess it's dropped a little. It seems like I guess Tapology hasn't updated, but I've seen some people on Olazechuk, but I just think Pereira is more well-rounded. I think maybe this weight class will help his gas tank. Maybe he won't have crazy as much of a crazy strength advantage, but I think he can still take down Olazechuk. Can he hold him down for entire rounds? Maybe not, but I think he could edge a couple of these close rounds as long as he doesn't get knocked out. And he's been pretty durable in the UFC, so I'm gonna say Pereira gets it down. I'm gonna say decision, and let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got Pedro Munoz taking on Kyler Phillips. And I'll just make sure I didn't miss any bets. Yep. And yeah, man, in this fight, Kyler Phillips a pretty big favorite, but I see why Pedro Munoz. He really has had an issue with not throwing enough. Let me just mute my vibration. His volume is just not all the way there, man. He's throwing just not enough strikes in these fights. He's got good low kicks, which I do think could be a problem for Kyler Phillips, and he's crazy durable. But I just think Phillips, man, he's coming into his own. He's had some problem with his gas tanks, and I do think that's like a big question for this fight. But overall, I just think he's gonna outwork Munoz a lot. I think he's just gonna do a lot more, and he can mix in takedowns a little bit, but I don't know if I would really have a ton of confidence he's gonna take Munoz down a lot. Maybe once or twice, but I don't see him really like taking him down every round. I think he's gonna have to mix that in, and it's probably just be like I'd see him getting like a takedown in the first round and then probably no more. I think he's gonna have to outstrike him, and Munoz does have power, man, when he lands, and he can tear those legs up. But overall, I just think Kyler can mix in a takedown and maybe help him win the first. And the second and third, I think he could just as long as he just doesn't get his legs chewed up, I think he can just move around and just be the quicker guy who's going to throw more. He can mix in a takedown here and there. I just think he's going to outwork Munoz, who's been getting outworked in a lot of these fights. Even some of these fights he's winning, he's getting outworked. Even in this Gutierrez fight, it was close. I mean, he just doesn't throw a lot, so he makes some of the rounds look closer. But I mean, I scored the fight for him, but he was getting outworked in the O'Malley fight till the no contest. He got outworked by Cruz. He got outworked by Aldo. He got outworked by Cheeto, who gets outworked by everyone. He tends to have to knock you out, but you got outworked by Marlon Vera, man. Like that's not a good look. So I'm gonna take Kyler Phillips. I'm gonna take him by decision. Munoz is super durable, so maybe I'll be looking at a Phillips decision prop. Let me actually write that one down because, I hadn't written that one down, but that's one I'll be potentially looking at that I haven't bet yet. But overall, the pick's gonna be decision for Phillips, but not made a bet yet. The props haven't dropped. Next up, we got Matus Gamron versus RDA, and look, I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. This is probably my most confident pick on the card. I really am a huge fan of RDA, and I hate picking against them. But at this point of his career, man, 39 for the division, which, it's just up there for the smaller divisions. I mean, lightweight, yeah, it's not bantamweight or flyweight, but, still, this division's not only small enough to where, reflexes and speed are a big part, but it's also just it's a stacked division. And so you got Gamron, who's 33. He's in the prime of his career right now. He's had some tough losses, but overall, I mean, dude's super good, super high level wrestling, and I think the striking's gonna be close enough. I think RDA probably is the more dangerous on the feet, but I just don't think Gamron's gonna give him a lot of time up there, man. I think we've seen RDA have so much trouble against this style. A guy with size and wrestling on him, it's just his worst nightmare, man. Because RDA's got good jiu-jitsu, he's got great striking, but if he's fighting like a guy with some size and some wrestling on him, we've just seen it time and time again, man. I mean, at 170, it was a problem, and even against a guy like Gamron, who's just a huge lightweight, it's gonna be a problem. At welterweight, it was like Usman, Colby, Leon, all of these guys were just, I mean, he's just getting taken down, and he can't stop it. I think Gamron can take him down. Can he control him for long periods? Might be tough, but I think RDA's gas tank has only gotten worse. I mean, again, getting a little bit up there for the division. And I just think Gamron can just take him down, keep it pretty close on the feet, land some decent shots, just to land volume. It is not very dangerous on the feet, but he can land and then mix in a takedown, rinse, repeat. I think Gamrot by decision. I'm going to write that down as well, but I do have Gamrot as a leg and a parlay. We're going to talk about the second leg in a bit. But, yeah, no props out yet. This is Monday when I'm recording this, but I will take Gamrot, and I did parlay him. I'm going to pick him by decision. Next up, we got Katlyn Chookagian, who just got married, so it's Katlyn Surmanara taking on Macy Barber. Okay, well, look, if you know me, you've been watching my channel for a while. You know where I'm going with this. This is a pretty decently high level women's MMA fight, but it's unless we're talking the best of the best, it's usually dog or pass for me. And because a lot of these fights are going to decision, let alone with how these judges are, man. Like, if it's even a close decision, I want to be on the positive side, or the plus money side. And in this fight, man, we've seen it time and time again. Now, I'll admit, we got 35 against 25 at a division, whether it's women or men. It's 125. So, this is when age really, even 35 is 40 at flyweight, to be honest with you. That being said, man, I've cashed so many tickets. Honestly, Chookagian's got to be up there for one of my most profitable fighters. I did lose a little when I had her by decision against Farrell, but I scored her by decision against Ribas. I scored her by decision against Jennifer Maia. I scored her by decision against Arujo. I scored her by decision against Cynthia Calvillo. Now, some of these fights are close, and people say, "Oh, she won as a robbery." You know how many times I've had a winning ticket with Chookagian by decision, and then half the time, those times, people are calling it a robbery. Now, I did actually have her against Andrade. I'll admit that might have been the one time where I could have seen that coming. Not just because she lost, but I guess that wasn't the best stylistic matchup there. But against Macy Barber, I get it. She does have power, but I don't think she's got Jessica Andrade power. And she, I don't think she's as hard to take down. I mean, yeah, nowadays Andrade, but when she fought Andrade then years ago, Andrade, especially just shorter center of gravity. I mean, she is shorter than Chookagian, but Andrade is just a little pit bull. But Barber does have power as well, and if she gets on top of you, she's dangerous. But Chookagian, man, I think she's still a brown belt. Like, I say that typically in UFC is a brown belt, but Chookagian's got solid jiu-jitsu, man. Like, she doesn't have the best wrestling. She can mix in a takedown on some of these girls, but typically only once they get tired. She definitely wants to keep it on the feet, and she gets a lot of crap for swinging it air. She has some of the lowest striking accuracy you'll ever see. It's 32%, 33%, and just but hey, it makes she wants to just outwork you. If it's close, she wants to be the one throwing. I mean, you saw Royval edge a decision against Moreno the other day, and half of those shots were either complete whiffs or off the gloves. But if it's a close round, the judges just see one guy outworking the other. That's why you'll constantly hear me say outwork, because in a close decision, man, that stuff matters. Optics matter. So, I think this is going to be a close fight, man. Macy Barber can probably take her down once, take her down twice, but I can't have confidence as a 2-1 favorite. She's going to go out here and take Chookagian down over and over. And if she takes her down, is she just going to finish her like that? I mean, Chookagian, she's tough, man. She's well-rounded. She's not a fish out of water on the ground. I guess she's getting up there for the division. I think Macy Barber's legit, but, this is a step up, man. I mean, Macy Barber, a lot of these wins, it's Ribas, okay, that's solid, but honestly, Ribas has been a little bit shaky. The Andrea Lee fight, man, that was close. Split decision with Andrea Lee. I mean, that was 2 fights ago. Just Guy, decision. Montana De La Rosa, decision. And I mean, she's not really, dominating these fights. Miranda Maverick, split. I mean, I'll give her a pass for these losses. Well, that loss. And this loss is she blew her knee out. I mean, wasn't looking great before that happened. But, I think she's dangerous when she gets on top of you. But her striking is meh. If it stays on the feet for 15 minutes, I mean, I'm not saying Macy Barber could if she's gonna have to have a notice, either knock her down, which is I don't see that happening really. It could happen, but I wouldn't bet on that as a 2-1 favorite. but she's going to have to, like, visually hurt her in these rounds. Because I think Chookagian is just going to throw more. So, give me Chookagian. I'm going to take her as a dog. I haven't bet it yet because the decision prop hasn't dropped and people are still betting Barbar. So, I'm in no rush. I'm going to sit and see what they put the decision prop at. Maybe I take her by decision. Maybe I just play the money line. Probably going to have some money on Chookagian, though, in the next day or two when that prop drops. I probably won't get greedy and wait unless the line continues to go up over the next day. But I'm waiting to see that decision prop drop. Once it does, I'll either play money line or decision. I'm going to take the underdog, though. Chookagian, I'm going to take her by decision. Let's move on to the next fight. We got Curtis Blades taking on Jailton Almeida. Another fight I have a bet on. It's about even money, as even as it gets on the money line there. And I get it. It's a close fight, and I can see arguments on both sides. Jailton Almeida obviously wants to take you down, wants to submit you. I don't give him as much crap as a lot of people for not being able to submit Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis has that crazy, defensive jiu-jitsu and grappling, whereas he doesn't get. People are like, oh, he doesn't do jiu-jitsu. Yes, he does. He does do jiu-jitsu, man. He's playing a gimmick. Now, is he in the gi out there doing jiu-jitsu all the time? Of course not, but he knows how to defend on the ground. He knows how to stay alive. He's also just a freak athlete. Jailton Almeida, if he gets on top of you, man, he's dangerous. And we haven't seen a lot of people put blades on their back. And when they do, he's getting up. If Jailton Almeida gets on top of Blades, it's going to be a trouble. But, man, if this was 5 rounds, I'd be unloading the bankroll on Blades. But, it is 3 rounds. But I do feel like the way Almeida fights against Blades, I think, if he doesn't get that first takedown, first 1 or 2 takedowns, I think we're going to see a little bit of a shift in momentum immediately. I think Jailton, I don't think he can stand and straight. Yes, Blades has been clipped. His striking defense has been a little sus. And now because of that, it's got people thinking maybe his durability is a little sus. I think it at least started with his chin's just there to be touched. But, at this point, he has been knocked out a couple times. But they are the biggest hitters. Ngannou finished him twice. Sergey Pavlovich finished him once. And then Derek Lewis. Literally probably the 3 hardest hitters that he could have possibly fought. So, is Jailton Almeida that? In one strike in that first round, he can do that. But is he throwing combinations with power? Not really. Blade's going to have a boxing advantage. He's going to have the cardio advantage. And it is only 3 rounds, but I feel like, Jailton's the type, he can go 5 just barely against Derek Lewis when Derek's just taking long breaks off his back, but I don't think Blade's going to do that, man. I think Blade's going to make him work for those takedowns. I think Almeida's going to slow down. I think Blade's going to outbox him, so I took Blades as a minus 105. I get why a lot of people are on Almeida. Again, I wouldn't hate a Almeida in the first round bet. I honestly think that's his win, his main path to victory. I know he's coming off the decision, but I really feel like he's going to go balls to the wall as always, and Curtis Blades either going to get him super tired defending that, or he's and potentially finish him, or, maybe Almeida survives to a decision. That's why I'm just going to play the money line. But, I don't see Almeida winning outside of the first round, first 7 minutes. So, give me Curtis Blades straight, minus 105. I'm going to take him. Yeah, I think he's going to get a finish. I'm going to take Blades to get the finish. I don't know if it's going to be probably a ground and pound, but I actually wouldn't be the way Almeida just throws himself in potential submissions when he gets desperate. I don't think Blades, he's not a huge submission threat, but I think he's ground and pound finish. Let's move on to the next one. We got Petr Yan taking on Song Yadong. Oh, man, this fight, honestly, I've been really back and forth on this, man. Obviously, Song's got all the momentum. He did get out wrestled and lose it, lose to Corey Sandhagen. What was that? Wasn't that the cut? Yeah, the doctor stoppage by cut. But he was getting out wrestled. He was getting pieced up a little bit on the feet, but he was landing some shots on the feet as well. Petr Yan, man, it all started with that illegal knee, and then it's been downhill from there. I mean, whew, excuse me. He had the close fight with Sean O'Malley. He had the absolutely got dominated by Merab. A close fight with Aljo. I mean, a lot of people think he got robbed there. I actually thought Aljo won the fight, to be honest. I mean, he was holding his back for so long, and I get that. Like, he didn't, people don't like that, but like, come on, Jan didn't do enough to win a round where he was on his back the whole round. Anyways, the striking's going to be close at this point. I mean, I do think Jan's got the more technical striking, but Song, 26 just now coming into his prime. I mean, Jan's only 31, but, he's been fighting for a while, even before, like, he's had fights outside of MMA. And it just seems like, I don't know, I mean, he's been fighting at the highest level for a while. I don't know if he has as much tread on his tires as Song Yadong. Well, I mean, the other way. Song, has a lot left. Whereas Jan, 3 losses in a row, 4 of his last 5. Now, one of them is kind of fluky, but I don't know, man. Where's Jan's head at? And then, Song's a big dude, too. I mean, he's going to probably be a little bit bigger. Jan, I mean, the grappling, I don't think there's going to be a ton of grappling in this. I mean, I wouldn't hate Jan to go out and, like, try to get a couple throws, try to hit a trip or two. Switch it up, because we've seen some. If Corey can wrestle him, I think Jan can. But can I really have faith he's going to go out there and do that a ton? No, I think it's going to be a close decision, man. Both guys are super tough, super durable. I think it's going to be a close decision, so that would typically make you want to lean the dog of Song Yadong, but especially with the momentum and against the tough run Jan's in. But will Jan be the type where his back's against the wall? Typically outside of our momentum over a guy like who you could argue backs against the wall, but it's tough to really think that Jan could be 5 of his last 6 losses. Like, that would be crazy. But Song is super legit, man. The UFC have done Jan no favors, but I'm gonna lean ever so slightly Jan by decision. But I think the overs, whoever you like out of the 2 by decision, I do not see a finish happening in this fight. They're both dangerous, but they're also both so tough, and I just don't see either getting knocked out, and I don't see either doing a ton of grappling to get a submission. So give me Jan by decision, but that's a coin toss for me. Next up, we got Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. Gilbert Burns, those odds have not been updated, because Gilbert Burns now is a pretty big favorite. I mean, big underdog. He's plus 140 right now on DraftKings. So, I get it. Jack has all the hype, and for reasons we said before, in a couple of these fights, Burns 37 at lightweight. It's getting a little up there. I mean, welterweight. He used to fight at lightweight, but moved up, a couple of years ago. No, so he's not the biggest welterweight. Matalena is going to be a little bigger. He's going to have a little bit of a size advantage. God, that nose just always trips me out. But some of these fights have been a little dicey, man. I mean, the Bazile fight, crazy close against a guy nobody's heard of. That was supposed to be a layup. Kevin Holland, that you could have argued Holland won that fight. The Randy Brown fight, it looked good. Danny Roberts, okay, you can't really look into that too much. The Ramazan Amid fight, that was pretty solid, honestly. Then Pete Rodriguez, as low as it gets. So, man, other than the Kevin Holland fight and the Randy Brown fight, he really hasn't fought anyone. I mean, the Amid, that's not terrible, but Burns has fought them much, but he's fighting champions and Hamzat, and Jack's gonna have a striking advantage. Gilbert's gonna have the grappling advantage hard. Like, if it goes to the ground and there's more than a minute and a half left, Gilbert's probably submitting them. So it's tough, and I do ever so slightly lean with Jack with the momentum, with the youth at the division, the striking advantage. I haven't seen Burns come out and do a ton of wrestling, not a ton lately. His past 5 fights. So I feel like if it's gonna play out mostly on the feet, I'm gonna lean with the striker, who's younger, got more in the tank, a little bit more durable at this point of his career. But I want to look at the Gilbert by sub because I honestly don't really see in my head Burns knocking him out or winning a decision. So maybe the sub prop, if that line people keep betting Jack, because I don't know if I can get to him as like a minus 165 or something. I think it should be like a minus 130. Like I have a slight lean towards him, but I don't know. Like I don't think I can bet him as it's getting up there. I mean, what on some of these books is, I mean, he's minus 166 is the highest, as low as 152, 150. So I mean, I want to look at Gilbert Burns by decision. Gilbert Burns by submission. But I'm gonna pick Jack. I'm gonna pick him to win the fight. Probably no bet for me because it's just I think it's lined pretty accurately. But then again, the props haven't dropped yet, so it's still only Monday. When the props drop, we'll see if any of them look good. But I'm gonna pick Jack TKO second round. But no bet yet. We gotta get those props, man. And you guys know, hit me up on Twitter. I always tweet out all my bets before the fight. Hit me up in the DMs or in the comments on YouTube, and always happy to go back and forth with you once the props drop. We got Kevin Holland taking on MVP Michael Venom Page. Man, I gotta say, like, when I was trying to watch a couple of MVP's fights, because I really haven't really been paying attention to him too much lately. It's like I watched all these fights, but like, I don't know. It was like I didn't know if he was really gonna end up coming to the UFC, but some of these fights, like he kicked off Yamaguchi's leg, close fight against Douglas Lima. I mean, that was close. Who are these guys, man? I'm sorry, but like it's low level. A lot of these guys, like he fought Douglas Lima and got knocked out, and then he had a close decision with him. I mean, he washed Paul Daly. I love Paul Daly, but come on. I mean, Charlie Ontiveros. It's like all these other guys are like Bellator. Like some of their records are okay, but when you look into who they're fighting, it's like, cool, man. You knocked out a random guy that's beat a bunch of bums. And he's 36. He's about to be 37. Kevin Holland's 31. Never been finished except, against the Wonderboy fight. And yeah, people are comparing that to this. But he was injured in the Wonderboy fight. The arm was broken. Now, I'll concede, he was losing the fight. And yes, they have a similar style, but, not really. I mean, yeah, they're both like karate. They're in that karate stance. And, there's similarities, obviously. But, I wouldn't just say their style is the same. Wonderboy's better, man. Like, Wonderboy's just better. Like, I don't think MVP is as good as Wonderboy, and I don't think his striking is as good. And I just think Kevin Holland, yes, can you trust his fight IQ? Can you trust him to go out here and use his advantages, like take the fight down? Because on the ground, he's gonna have a big advantage there. He's got solid submissions, but the wrestling is not great. Do I think he's gonna have the fight IQ or the wrestling to go out here and do that a lot? No, but if he does wind up on top, hopefully he doesn't do what he did against Wonderboy. Hopefully he learned that lesson, because towards the end of the fight, he was actually trying to do some grappling, but it was a little too late. But MVP doesn't throw as much. I trust Holland to go out and throw more. I think that I don't know if I've seen MVP fight a lot of guys who can kind of match him with that length and reach. And yeah, people are looking at the record, but it's like, Holland typically wins fights like this. Now, yeah, he had trouble against Wonderboy, but he broke his arm, and then before that, yeah, like he was losing, but Wonderboy is like he's this level above MVP in my opinion. So, I think if you put them against each other, Wonderboy would piece his ass up. So, give me Kevin Holland, man. I think he can knock MVP out. He can win a decision. I think it's gonna be a decent, close decision, most likely, but I could see him, if there's a finish, I think Holland knocks him out. So I'm going to pick Holland to win a decision. Maybe have a couple moments where he gets hits him with a good chop, puts him up against the cage, and gets a takedown or two. I would love to see it. Can I have a ton of faith in it? No, but at least the opportunity's there, where I would be shocked if MVP took Holland. Not that, I guess I can't say that, because if he goes for it, Holland tends to get taken down when you try, but I don't see MVP trying that, and it would be risky for him anyways. you don't want to grapple Holland. There's going to be a grappling advantage for Holland if they grapple at all. So give me Holland. I think it's probably going to play out 90% on the feet. I just think Holland's going to do more. I think he's got more durability. I think he can match some of my MVP's like physical advantages. I don't know if MVP's fought a lot of guys with longer reach than him, who fight long too. So give me Holland, man. I think Holland can knock him out, but I'm going to pick him to win by decision. Co-main event time. We got Dustin Poirier taking on BSD Benoit Saint Denis. Man, I see Dustin Poirier at plus 190 on Caesars, plus 185 Bet Rivers and Unibet and Betway. I get it. I get why it seems like everyone is on BSD. I don't actually know if I've seen any like cappers who I even like pay attention to that took Dustin Poirier. I mean, I'm sure I'll see some later in the week, of course, but especially as that number continues to go up. But it seems like literally everybody in the community is on Benoit Saint Denis. And again, I get it. Like, I do get it. I think 28. Yes, his one loss. He pretty much made a name for himself by being that was that tough guy who, didn't refuse to die, and the ref got fired after him. Like, they sent that ref home, I think. I think he was supposed to have another fight later on in the card because that was in Abu Dhabi, and they were like, yeah, you're done. Like, he got pulverized by Zaleski. But Zaleski's a big dude at 170. He was a lot bigger than DP and a lot of these guys. So, I won't give him too much crap for that, but, at the end of the day, he did get destroyed. Since then, he's been finishing guys. He's winning fights, but the Matt Frevola, Frevola's legit. Like, that's solid, but we have seen Frevola knocked out a couple times. Thiago Moises, like, okay. I mean, Bonfim, I was never a big Bonfim guy. Gabriel Miranda, my boy Stolze. I mean, these aren't like the greatest wins. So, I think this is a big step up. I think people are kind of sleeping on Dustin Poirier a little bit. I mean, I do get it. Like, you got to start questioning his durability. He got knocked out again, and this one was brutal. I mean, he was winning the fight until that happened, but who cares? I get it. He got knocked out. Who cares who was winning? But, and it was a brutal knockout, and he is 35, and people hate that number now. I get why people are on BSD. I really do. I mean, he's good. He's well-rounded. And we have seen Dustin Poirier's takedown defense has been an issue. I think Benoit can take him down. But I just don't think if he takes him down, it's just going to be GG. No, I think, man, like, the jury's still out if Benoit is going to be able to, when he can't just be the hammer, can he take some punishment outside of, like, I mean, the Zaleski fight, yeah, he survived, but, I mean, he got destroyed. He was getting destroyed. I mean, he landed some shots, but, like, it was one-way traffic. That fight should have been stopped. And that's a testament to this dude is as tough as they come. I mean, if this was a video game, his toughness would be 99. But, I get it. He's younger. He's going to be more durable. He's, looked like he can go hard 15, but this is 25. And, I mean, he was tired in that Zaleski fight. It's just a testament to how tough this dude is because he was gassed. But, I think Dustin's going to have the boxing, the striking advantage. Maybe Benoit has more power and he's more explosive at this point of their career. But I don't know, man. Especially at this line. And maybe I'm being influenced by the line a little bit, but I mean, I'm probably going to get Dustin at 2-1. So I haven't bet it yet, but that line's continuously going in my way, man. I think I'm gonna stand on an island and go against the entire community, and maybe I'll be looking like a fool if Dustin Poirier really is, not the same anymore. But I honestly didn't think he looked bad up until the knockout against Gaethje, and I mean maybe that was the last, ticket for his chin to clock, but. Overall, man, I like Poirier. I like Poirier inside the distance of these numbers, man. That inside the distance hasn't dropped yet. But, when it does, I want to take a look, compare it. If I'm just getting Dustin at 2-1, I mean, maybe I just won't get picky. But because Benoit is tough. So maybe he just survives and it goes 5, but DP wins. Dustin's had plenty of 5-round fights, man. Like, I just think more tried and true. If you're giving me 2-1, he's not 40, he's 35. I get he does have a lot of miles on those tires, but he's coming off a brutal knockout. So again, like, I get the BSD love. If you're getting him at even money, I get it, because I do think this fight's. I think it's a coin toss, man. That's why it's like at these numbers, almost 2-1. I'm starting to lean Dustin. It hasn't been enough to push me to betting yet. What did I say? Minus 190 on one book. Plus 190. Yeah, I haven't yet. I'm just gonna let it keep going. Keep watching a little bit more of this fight week stuff since I'm in no rush. Keep seeing how Dustin's looking. See where my head's at when these props drop. But as of Monday, no bet yet. But I'm just watching the line. But give me Dustin Poirier. I'm gonna take him like 4th round TKO. Next up, we got the main event. And if you made it this far, man, let me know in the comments what bets you're taking. Let me know your favorite fight on the card. If you think 300 is better than 299. This is the longest video we've done in a while, but this is one of the best cards we've had in a long time, so I had to do it justice. So we got Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera, Marlon Chito Vera in the rematch. Chito Vera in the first fight chopped his leg, hit the peroneal nerve or whatever it's called, shut down Sean's leg. We've seen it before against Brett Primus, Henry Cejudo against Mighty Mouse. We've seen it happen a couple times, but Sean wasn't able to recover in time. Maybe if he could have survived the round, but Chito gets on top of him, knocks him out. He did knock him out. Those elbows, Sean went out there for a minute. Sean's called it fluke from the beginning, but I think deep down, Sean respects the win. I mean, I do think he probably does think that it was a little fluky. Was Chito like, all right, I'm going to hit him in this spot on his peroneal nerve, shut his leg down? No, but I mean, the leg kicks were real. Sean has had a weakness to his legs in past fights. But, Chito's well-rounded and super durable. One of the most durable. Him and Pedro Munoz are some of the most durable fighters on the roster, and they're fighting on the same card. Chito Vera tends to start slow. He loses a lot of the first round or two, but he tends to find the knockout later on in the fight. And, I'm going to be looking at the 3rd, 4th, 5th round props for Chito Vera, inside the distance or knockout. I lean towards the knockout if he gets it, but, the submission's possible, so if the line's not too different, maybe just inside the distance, 3rd round, 4th, or 3rd, 4th, 5th. Overall, I think the most likely scenario is a Sean O'Malley by decision. Chito's so tough to finish, man. He's as durable as they come, man, seriously. If anybody could put him out, it'd be a sniper like Sean. But overall, I think he just outworks it, man. I think Sean just throws so much more volume. Chito will give up the first round or two to try to set things up and, make his reads. By that time, Sean's up 1 or 2 rounds. All he's got to do is win one of the last ones and not get knocked out. So, I'm going to lean towards the minute winner. I parlayed him at minus 200 with Gamron, who is like, I'd have to look, but it combined to plus 102. Gamrod is a lot bigger now, but, even now you could still get at like minus 105. I would still play that. Yeah, I just think, I get people on the Chito side, and I do see value on the inside the distance. Plus 450 is what it is right now. But I want to, maybe I end up hedging with an inside the distance, or maybe I just play the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or like, 4th, 5th. I don't know. I want to measure the round props, measure the inside the distance, see where the line goes. I think people are going to continue to parlay Sean O'Malley. I'm seeing the line continue to get even chalkier. So I parlayed him up like a week ago. Sean O'Malley and Gamrot plus 102. We got so that's going to be my last pick. I'll run through the bets, run through the picks. We got Sean O'Malley by decision, Dustin Poirier by TKO, Kevin Holland, I'm going to say decision, Jack Della Matalena, TKO, Piotr Jan, decision, Curtis Blades, TKO, Caitlin Chukagian, decision, Matus Gamrot, decision, Kyler Phillips decision, Michelle Pereira decision, Philippe Lenz, man, I'm gonna lean TKO, but man, that guillotine's live with Calaba. Rebellis, Despain by KO. We're gonna go Azu Almabayev submission and Marina Moraes submission. So those are my picks. As far as bets right now, I have locked in O'Malley and Gamron plus 102, Blades minus 105, and Pereira minus 150. Some other bets I pointed out, the late props for Cheeto Vera, maybe a Gamrot decision, a Phillips decision, a Poirier inside the distance, or money line as that continues to get even juicier. Chukagian by decision, Vergara money line as that continues to get wider. Excuse me. But that's where my head's at right now, man. Leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comments the bets you like, the favorite fights. Do you like $299 or $300 better? I appreciate you guys, man. Make a bunch of money. Enjoy the fights. I think I'm gonna go live and talk about my bets and talk to you guys about the fights a little later this week. I've never done that before, but people have been telling me to do it. Make sure you subscribe. Click post notifications. We went long on this one, but had to do it justice. 14 fights, and it's one of the best cards I've had in a long time. Man, we got a lot of good fights coming up, but even in the next couple of weeks. So enjoy the fights, man. I will catch y'all later in the week. It's been real. Cash those tickets.